Lyre of the Lion by TheNightNinja2. Chapter 32. The Feel of Magic. It wasn't uncommon for Louisa and Lucy to find themselves alone in their cabin when they awoke in the mornings. Mirabelle was always an early riser, and seemed to be getting up even earlier to spend time with Drinian before the day's work began. This gave time for the two girls to talk about their lives. Louisa was horrified at what Lucy's world had been through in the last few years. She would forever be grateful the Encanto was sheltered from such horrors. Maybe she would ask Papa why he came to the Encanto in the first place. Other than the miracle, her world didn't seem that much different to Lucy's. Columbia existed in both worlds, and the Encanto was the only anomaly. You seem so happy here on the Dawn Treader. Do you ever feel like you don't want to go back to the Encanto? Asked Lucy.
As much as I love it here, and all the good it's done for me, the Encanto is my home. I'd miss my parents too much if I stayed here. I grew up in the Encanto, just as much as Mirabelle grew up here. I'm sad that I'll likely miss the wedding of my little sister, but I know that she is happy. She's where she belongs, with people who adore her and would never allow anyone to hurt her as the Encanto has hurt her,
said Louisa. The sun is getting larger, said Mirabelle, as she stared off into the endless sea ahead.
Doesn't look much different to me,
said Drinian. Rations are getting low again. It's a good thing we still have the poultry, though water is our biggest issue, sighed Mirabelle.
You worry about this stuff more than I do,
said Drinian. It's my duty to worry. As a ruler, I have to think of the safety of my subjects. Caspian is the king, but I, as the princess of ancient Narnia, I technically outrank him. That is the position I must make my decisions from, even if I would never take the throne from Caspian, or take away his command on ship, unless in dire situations such as that storm, said Mirabelle, resting her chin on her arms above the railing of the poop deck. It was a relief to see land again, though Mirabelle could feel there was a strong magic at work on the island. It's not like the ambient magic this world has. It feels practiced, ordered, and intentional, as if something or someone is commanding it, said Mirabelle.
Does it feel malicious?
Asked Caspian. No, it's almost akin to being scolded by an elder. It's not pleasant, but there for something's own good, said Mirabelle.
Well, that's a relief, but I think this house is empty, said Edmund.
No, it's not. Apart from the smoke rising in the chimney, the magic is more concentrated around this place, and it's moving around another figure inside, said Mirabelle. Lucy's warning of the invisible creatures alarmed most of them. Mirabelle, however, was less perturbed. She left a small ball of fire in her hand, and there was screaming coming from the invisible creatures. She's a magician! They screamed.
Oh, please, great sorceress, we mean you no harm. We just need the little girl,
cried one of the others, designated as the chief. That little girl is a queen, said Reapy Cheep.
We know nothing of queens. We just need the little girl, and we'll let you live, said the chief. Yes, hear him, oh great chief, hear him, sounded the other creatures.
As the creatures proceeded to explain why they needed Lucy to break some spell a magician had put on them, Mirabelle felt that something was off about the tale. The magic wasn't malicious in the slightest. She volunteered to go with Lucy and find this book of spells.
Mira, can't you do anything about this, so neither of you needs to go into that house?
Said Edmund. If the magic was untamed, then possibly, but this is the work of an actual spell. The most I can do is go with Lucy for protection. Not that I truly think there is anything malicious about the magician in that house. Bad magic tends to have a different feel to it. Almost gross and sticky. It clings to the air and makes it horrible to even breathe. Bad magic will suffocate you, but not physically. It starves your mind of reason, not air. From what I gather, male minds fall victim to it slightly more easily than women, but if the evil magic is potent enough, then even those aware of its presence can fall victim to it. There is a creature of magic, which is a grey area. A dragon's hoard carries greed on it, but that is the nature of the beast, but it is not evil. It is the instinct of a magical creature. Some untamed magic has a mind of its own, to test those who it interacts with. I fear you nearly fell victim to a test back on Deathwater, said Mirabelle.
How do you know all of this, Mira?
Asked Edmund. I just do. Magic is strange like that. Be in tune with it enough, and it tells you its secrets, said Mirabelle. If you believe the house isn't dangerous, then you don't need to come with me, Mira, said Lucy. Well, I'm coming of my own curiosity more than anything else, said Mirabelle. The meal they served was good, and Antonia watched as Mirabelle found an alcoholic beverage she disliked, though she thought the mead was much too sweet. But Louisa disagreed and drank twice as much as her sister, causing her to become a very emotional young woman, and saying how she wished they could see their hosts because there is nothing that is ugly that isn't adorable in its own way. Antonio found that there was no one stopping him from eating as much custard and jam as he wanted, so he stuffed himself with sweets instead of the more savoury dishes. Seeing how unworried Mirabelle was about their little venture into the house made Lucy relax a little. When they came upon the room with the spellbook in it, the magic within hit Mirabelle with a force that almost caused her to stumble. While Lucy looked for the spell, Mirabelle was browsing the other tomes. She then noticed Lucy staring at a spell and went over to see what it was. Lucy, ask Louisa about the Iliad and the Odyssey. Helen of Troy was so beautiful, a war was waged over her. People died because they saw her as a trinket to possess. Look there, Aslan is giving you a warning not to read this spell. Of all the magic in this place, this spell is the darkest, said Mirabelle. You're right, Mira, sighed Lucy. She turned the page. Lucy did end up saying the one that revealed what your friends thought of you, and urged Mirabelle to say it as well. Mirabelle sighed, though she already knew what most people thought of her. Perhaps it would be nice to see how far Drinian's feelings for her truly went. She said the spell, and the images on the page swirled.
So, Drinian, how long do you plan on courting Mirabelle before proposing marriage? Asked Edmund. A good while yet. Perhaps I will ask her when we return to Narnia. But she deserves a proper wedding, with feasts for weeks and all of Narnia celebrating. Though it will also have to be well after the party celebrating her return. I suspect Narnia will be holding feasts and balls in her honour for a good long year, said Drinian. And that would be on top of the party celebrating our return. I hope the castle wine cellars are prepared, said Caspian. I'm so glad we get to see the old Mirabelle. Though do ensure that any handmaidens she has don't join her in her revelry. That's how Peter lost a good set of robes, chuckled Edmund. Mirabelle smiled at the scene. She did intend to drink quite heavily at future parties. It was what Narnia expected of her and loved her for. She was having fun, then all was right in the kingdom. She knew it was wrong to eavesdrop on a conversation, but knowing her feelings were more than requited made her happier than she had been in a good long while. Lucy was rather miserable at what her own friends seemed to think of her. You have seen one moment, maybe, but I don't think you have context for anything that may have been said previously. Give your friends another chance. If they show those colours around you, then by all means never associate with them again. Come on. Let's not read anything else until we find the spell we're looking for, said Mirabelle, hugging her sister. Then, quite quickly, they found it. A spell to make hidden things visible. Lucy spoke the words, and Mirabelle could feel the magic shifting and bending. She turned in place, to see everything being revealed by the spell. Then behind her, she saw a great lion. Aslan! She exclaimed. Both girls ran to him. I suspect you were here the whole time, asked Mirabelle. Smart as ever, little one, laughed Aslan.
You will allow me to stay in Narnia this time, won't you?
Begged Mirabelle. Little one, the Encanto has changed your spirit. It would not be wise to let it change you even more. Not when you are already loved for who you are already, and who you were, said Aslan.
Oh, thank you, Aslan, thank you, cried Mirabelle, burying her face into his mane.
My friend is rather angry that his love has not apologized to you, but that cannot be helped any more, said Aslan.
Lucy apologised for eavesdropping on her school friends.
Your sister speaks the truth, dear one. Perhaps you ought to listen to her more,
said Aslan. Lucy nodded. Aslan, have I found the limit to my powers yet? Or is there more I need to unlock? Said Mirabelle.
Are you content with what you have, little one?
Asked Aslan. I would have been content with no magic apart from my lyre, said Mirabelle.
Then that is for you to discover if you ever need to,
said Aslan. Eventually both girls followed him to meet the master of the house. End of chapter. Hi guys, hope you enjoyed this one. A good chapter that one, I think, but I don't have too much to say about it. So yeah, you guys know the drill. Like, comment and subscribe and hit that bell to get notified for whenever I upload a new video. Have a good day, night or whatever time zone you're in. Bye my guys, gals and non-binary pals. I'll see you in another video. Take care.